the House of Consciousness Information. We here with Brother Sarnetta and myself, Brother Alim, Newell Bay. And today's subject is going to be on this is actually a prelude to a up and coming lecture on sexuality of basically its origin and also the techniques and methods in which that we need to use today, in which that can heal and also rejuvenate, because there's a two process um, method to sexuality. Most people only get involved with the reproductive method, but there's also a regenerative method in which that goes along with sexuality, and that's basically what we're gonna get into today. Um, we're gonna start off with the origin. Like for example, if you read Blackout through Whitewash by Cesar, in there it is broken down about the origin of man in his ethereal form, in his godlike light form. And as we came from the stars and manifested within this particular orbit, we took the elements onto our light body, in which that soon became what we will call flesh. In that first state, we was what we would call hermaphrodites, if that's what you would want to say. We were sea dwelling beings at that particular time, in which that would be more so what we would say dolphin like, for lack of a better terminology. This is written within the Dogon mythology, in which that they speak about the god Nomo. Nomo was a sea dwelling being, in which that emerged from out of the sea and became a land walker. It's the same thing in which that scientists would tell you today, that approximately millions of years ago, the dolphins became land dwellers and moved upon the land, and then some of them readapted themselves back to the waters. The land dwellers became us in physical form, in which that we would call ourselves human beings now, but at one point we was more so land. We was more so sea creatures in that sense of dolphin-like at first. As we evolved, we took on the form in which that you see now, with arm, leg, arm, head, in which that, of course, the acronym for that is Allah. And of course, if you look at if you test out the name Allah, you will find out that that's actually what we call the breath of life, because as you inhale and exhale, that is actually what you're saying in the process, is the name of Allah. So that's why Sufis would tell you that Allah dwells within the heart, is because that is the manifestation of what keeps you alive and keeps you in balance, is the breath. Within the ancient Kemetic teachings, it is stated that Shu was the mediator between Geb, which was symbolic to the earth, and Nut, which was symbolic to the sky. Now, Nut had feminine aspects, and you can see her body in ancient Kemet with stars embedded inside of it. Geb was symbolic to the earth deity, and he was symbolic to the masculine energy. Of course, nowadays we say Mother Earth and we say Father Sky, and we switched it around somewhat, but it is not in the sense of what you would take. It's not something which that had to stay concrete. It's something in which that was symbol. It was a symbol, and so we come to find out that that was the first tell of the separation of the masculine and feminine forces, was with the sky and with the earth itself. That same process is spoke about within the book of Genesis, the first chapter, in which that God said, "Let there be light," and then and then his spirit, even before that, his spirit moved upon the face of the earth, and upon the waters of the earth, and that was his spirit. So I mean, all of that, the spirit was symbolic to Shu, and then it says in the firmaments, which is symbolic to the air. So that is the separation first, in that sense of what it was actually talking about, as far as female and masculine forces. And so when it comes to the human form, that same thing took place within us. Like I was saying earlier, is that we were some morphidites, and what happened was is that as we had microgenetic bursts set off by the sun within our DNA, as well as also having to adapt to the land and also to the environment and climate conditions. If you go and read The Secrets of Regeneration by Hilton Hotima, he speaks about the fact that the woman form um, arrived first. Now, this doesn't contradict what the Bible says. The Bible simply tell you that Eve was made from the rib of Adam. But what it actually is talking about is that Adam is atom, Atom, and the sixth atom on the periodical chart is carbon. All of us in human form are made up of carbon. Those who are melanin beings or melanites, we are carbon beings. Those in which that do not have melanin, surface melanin, but they're still activated from the melanin world or the dark world or dark matter or black energy, such as the European. He doesn't have surface melanin. And the thing is that he is carbon-based being. That's what he is a carbon-based being. So the thing is that carbon is the key element of everything living. And so what you will find is that the woman, even though most of us have heard this story 100,000 times, being that a lot of us grew up as Christians, that Eve was made from Adam's rib. The rib in which that it was talking about was ribosome or ribosome, as it is said, RIBOSOMES, ribosomes. Also, you have what is called DNA, which is called deox or deoxyribonucleic acid. Once again, the word rib is within there. Also, you have RNA, ribonucleic acid. Once again, the word rib is in there. So what you actually have is talking about the manifestation of the physical body by the four components of what we call the basic amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. And that the woman, the rib in which that was talking about from the atom. Atoms form when atoms come together, they form molecules. Molecules, DNA is nothing but a gigantic molecule. So that's what it's talking about. So it doesn't conflict with the Bible, in which that we state that the woman was here physically first. The atom in which that even the Quran bears witness to, it was a heavenly man, the heavenly man. And the heavenly man was talking about the invisible atom, the unseen atom. We cannot see atoms. We can see the manifestation in physical form of an atom once atoms come together and become molecules. Molecules become, like for example, within the physical form, cells. Cells become tissue. Tissue, flesh. So we see the process of the building up of an atom, but we can't literally see an atom. Okay, so that is the science. So now that you understand that the woman was here first, you come to find out, according to Hilton Hotima's Secret of Regeneration, that the man came after the woman, and it's been scientifically proven that the Y chromosome came 150,000 years after the X chromosome. For example, the woman have two X chromosomes. The man have an XY chromosome. And then the only reason why it looks like a Y is because the leg, which is the bottom portion of that X, is taken off. That is approximately 28% of genetic material missing. That 28% of genetic material missing is what made man as he is. From the woman, separate from the woman. So the thing is that being in a hermaphroditic state, which is predominantly feminine, there was a group of people or beings, as we would say, in which that became more degenerative in a sense and became the masculine form. Thus, we begin to have those two forms upon planet Earth, in which that primarily feminine and male. So that's the way in which that took place. So when we go into the aspect of sex, actually what we're attempting to do is to come back and become what is called androgynous. That's what the whole sexual act is about, is becoming androgynous. And androgynous simply means becoming one. In other words, bringing back into balance the masculine and feminine forces. That's what the sexual act is all about. Now, of course, each person have the components of the masculine and feminine forces within themselves. Like, for example, testosterone is what primarily makes the males masculine. However, we also have a small amount of estrogen, which is feminine, which is a feminine hormone. All right. Same thing with the woman. The woman is primarily estrogen based. However, she has a small amount of testosterone. So the thing is that even before we merge together as male and female, as plug and socket, we must first balance out the aspect of life itself within ourselves first. So this is basically what we're gonna get on tonight is just some of that information. Like, for example, the male is symbolic to the sun. He's symbolic to electrical force, as well as also to active. He is the active force. The woman, on the other hand, she's symbolic to the magnetic force, what we would call negative. The moon. In the 5% teachings, she's called the earth because of the simple fact that what rotates around the sun or the planets. That's also get back into something else which we're going to go into about polygamy, about the man having more than one mate. Well, we look in nature, the sun has more than one mate. There's not just one planet, there's many planets in which that travels around the one sun. So we're going to get into this a little bit later on here, but I don't want to jump the gun too fast. I want to take everybody in the steps. Now that we came from the origin and the split, the book, and once again, that you need to get in order to find more information out is called The Secrets of Regeneration by Hilton Otima. Very wise individual. Pineal gland had to be activated in order to access all this damn information in which that I've read from him.
Most of that comes from our ancient teachings.
It comes from the ancient teachings. Everything which that we talking about, like I said, the Dogon tribes from out of Mali, which is near Timbuktu, and if you go back to the Timbuktu schools and doing the research on them, you will find that's actually the place in which that they first took the ancestors in slavery was from that particular area, was from Timbuktu. So that means they didn't bring over here savages and people who was in the trees, as they would say, talking about Unga Bunga. That means that they took doctors, lawyers, politicians, craftsmen, masons, all types of people who knew the science, of this world. They went right there. They went right there on the Niger River, where they get the term nigger from. The word Niger is spelled Niger. The word nigger is spelled Nigger. Only thing they did was put the G up in there. Of course, we find the G later on in Freemasonry inside of the composite square, talking about it represents geometry or God. And that's exactly what the word nigger represents in its actual form from the word naga, which that represents one who is enlightened or one who becomes a God, incarnated in flesh. Now, when we get into the information here, I don't have my glasses on, so I wrote some information down here, in which that we probably need to go over or go into. Also, when we look, like we were saying, that the males are electrical, he represents the positive pole, while the woman is magnetic. She represents the negative pole, not negative in the sense of what you would think as evil. However, the Bible, in the way in which that it was written, gave that evil connotation to it. You know what I'm saying? This is where you get the word Eve from. E-V-E, and you throw the L on there, you get the word evil. Well, the same thing is within the Hindu Vedic texts, such as the Hispanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata. It mentions the Diva. All right, D-E-V-A. Once again, you put an L on that and you get the word devil. So the thing is that when the Phoenicians got a hold of the information in which that they had the god El, E-L, the L became predominant upon the endings of those particular words. So Eve became evil and Diva which was once represented as God, became devil. So this is where this comes from. So we come to find out that the woman is always said that she is evil. If you go to the Bible, that it was her fault in which that caused the confusion in which that is now upon the planet Earth, and due to her um, rebelliousness. And for example, in the Genesis, it makes mention that Eve was confronted by the serpent, and the serpent um, told Eve to eat, of course, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All right, that tree of knowledge of good and evil is nothing more than sexuality. Okay, and how we know this is because the tree in which that is talking about in that regards is talking about the genitalia area, as well as also the spinal column. And it's a known fact that within metaphysics that the sperm, um, when it's manufactured from the prostate gland in the testes, it travels up the spinal column to the brain to be initiated and baptized by the pineal gland in the third ventricle, in which that becomes, that's the story in which that you find in your Bible about Jesus being baptized in the River Jordan by John the Baptist. That's what that is all talking about. But the sperm travels back down to the this is the chosen sperm, travels back down to reside with the rest of the 777,777,777 cells or germs in which that we call sperms. Within most individuals, that has lessened due to the fact of our diet, because of the foods in which that which are genetically altered nowadays, which about 98% of the food is genetically altered. So it's fallen from 700 million, over 700 million sperms to now approximately around 500 million, and some even lower. Within the European, it has dropped to less than 200 million. And the majority of them are abnormal sperms. So he is losing his capabilities of the genetic process. And so, of course, me and Brother Sarnetta was talking about the tape in which that the vintage Minister Farrakhan, in which that he did back in around in the 1970s. I think it was 1974. From what the brother was telling me, is that the white man fears genetic annihilation, and that is true because that is the same thing which that you can find within the book by Frances Cress Wilson, but the ISIS papers. And her book has been out for over 30 years, and not one white person has come forth in order to debate her on that subject, on that specific subject. Matter of fact, William Shockley attempted to battle her and try to battle her, and she ate his ass up literally by saying, "Hold up, you the one with the recessive gene. You the one that can't take the sun." So I mean, basically, case closed. Black women ruled in that instance over the white man, and that's something in which that they definitely never wanted to put out into the public. Um, but we want to get on to the science of sex. Like, for example, our concept of marriage has been misconstrued. It has. We think, the vast majority of people think that a marriage consists of getting a paper signed by the court of registers and letting the state partake in taking taxes from out of their marriage for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years or so. And so, in thus doing, by getting married by the state, you become wards of the state, actually. So, your whole marriage is by the state. There's nowhere in the Holy Bible or any of the holy books in which that state, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in order to put this man and woman, bring them together in holy matrimony. There's no that is made up. That is a made up ritual by the Roman Catholic Church, in which that the Protestants bought into their form of Christianity, or adopted into their form of Christianity. It is not something in which that actually was part of the ancient rituals of our ancient African ancestors all over the globe. We never did that. Matter of fact, there's instances in the Bible in which that tells you the way in which that we did our ritual. Matter of fact, in the Old Testament, it speaks about the fact that we would go in the tent, the male and female. This is before the gathering and the feast. We would go inside of the tent by the permission of the parents, of course, um, and have sexual relations. In order to, and this became later on that in order to show that the woman was a virgin, the sheet was shown to the village, to the families, of the male and of the female. Once it was bear witness that she was a virgin, then the festival would begin, or what we would call a reception. But it wasn't until then. You know what I'm saying? It was not until then. So we got the whole concept backwards. We say that we don't have the honeymoon, which is the sexual relationships, until after the reception. But in the Old Testament, it tells you, nah, to have the sexual relationships before the reception. Because now I got something to be joyful about is that, I got somebody in which that was wholesome. But because not too many of the females nowadays are virgins, they flipped the script. And so they had to make the female, you know what I'm saying, partake in the festivities or the festival beforehand. You know what I'm saying? And then the honeymoon came after the reception. So this is the thing in which that is going on. You know what I'm saying? So the less purity there was, the more watered down these rituals and ceremonies became. But there is no original ritual for the marriage ceremony. If it is, somebody please come forward and prove it to me. I dare anyone. Look in your Bible, look in your Quran, look in any of the ancient books. It is not there. In the Old Testament, matter of fact, it tells you that Adam knew his wife, or knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived. You know what I'm saying? So to know one another or to have knowledge of one another was to have sex. Sex was knowledge. And this is one of the points that we're going to get into a little bit later on here about how sex can give you knowledge when it's used properly. Okay? It can actually give you knowledge when it's used properly. Like, for example, the word marriage is derived from the word merge. M-A-R-R-I-A-G-E is derived from the word M-E-R-G-E. Take the vowels out. So when you take the vowels out of marriage, M-R-R-G-E. Take the vowels out of merge, M-R-G-E. The exact same vowels. Exact same vowels. So the word marriage is derived from the word merge. Now you look up in Webster Dictionary and you find out what the word merge means. It means to bring two separate entities together. So marriage is nothing more than the sexual act itself. You can go and find this out. The Hebrew, the Israelites would tell you this. The Hebrew Israelites would tell you. The African Hebrews would tell you this. This is what they study. This is what they practice also. And that's the truth of the matter. Is that marriage, that sex is marriage. There is no ritual or ceremony outside of that itself. Now, you get to the word wedding. The word wedding is derived from the word bedding. Take the W, turn it sideways. That's a B. E-D-D-I-N-G. So the word wedding is derived from the word bedding. Bedding. Bedding is the real form of wedding, not the ritual in which that we have, once again, a preacher standing in front of us as a couple saying, "Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today." That shit doesn't exist. That shit is made up. It's not in your Bible. It's not in any of the holy scripts. So quit that shit. All right? Now, you got also in Santeria, when you come together with someone, there's a ritual in which that is done. Particular verse or psalm is read. All right, Psalms 45 to be particular, to be specific. Psalms 45. If you and anyone who practice Santeria or anyone who studies the Psalms information, they would tell you Psalms 45 is for a good relationship, good marriage. All right. That is one of the seals of protection in which that you would read with your wife as a or as you as a husband before you even start the sexual act itself. That is a ritual in which that can be performed. All right. Um, when that is read, it puts forth a seal of protection around the individuals. We're gonna get more into that a little bit later here in the actual showing you how to seal how to put forth a seal of protection around the individuals while they're in a state of intimacy, because it is at this time in a state of intimacy that each individual is vulnerable, and so therefore they are most susceptible to demonic possession at the point of this point of the sexual act than at any other time, because of the factors is that you're giving yourself up, you know what I'm saying, in that act. You are submitting, the man is submitting unto the woman is submitting unto the man. You know what I'm saying? The thoughts at this particular time have to be very, very high. If they're low, then demonic possession can take place. That means nothing more than an attachment of some type of entity at the genitalia, which is called the root chakra, and at the navel chakra can take place. Some type of attachment, in which that can weaken your auric field and cause leaks in it. That is one of the things in which that can happen. So we're gonna give forth some information on how to protect yourself from that. This ain't got shit to do with spookism. What this got to do with is that everything is energy. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are things. So if you thinking the wrong thing while you're in that particular act, you can plague yourself with your thoughts. All right. So actually, it's a protection from your dumb ass, from you thinking the negative thoughts while you're in the sexual act. All right. As well as also those who are jealous and hateful of the relationship in which that you have with your woman or man. All right. Those are things, and those things can manifest if the people are not reared properly and understand that how to protect themselves from such psychic vampires and from such energies, or also what we call incubus and succubus. Be going here, like for example, let me see here. Talk about some things. Now, oh yeah, let's talk about that Diary of the Mad Angry Black Woman. I seen that. I seen the play yesterday, and I seen the videotape for it yesterday too. Now, the videotape is different than the play. It's different. All right. In the end, on the play, she forgives her husband and takes him back, and they start anew. You know what I'm saying? And in the movie, she doesn't. I just put it like that. Now, the same leading woman that was in the Diary of the Mad Angry Black Woman is also playing the lead in T.D. Jakes, or as I call him, T.D. Snake's movie, Women Thou Art Loose. So you got two movies that's out simultaneously, in which that is saying one or two things. To me, what it's saying is that the black woman is an angry whore, because it says women thou art loose. Well, when you check out that title, you're thinking about a woman being fast, as they would say back in the days. A woman who's giving herself up to any and every man in which that acts. All right, and then you thinking about the fact of the black woman is mad and angry. You know, I mean, damn. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So the black woman is she's black and she's mad and angry and she's a whore. And that's what these two movies are saying at this particular time period. And plus, you got Tyler Perry, who's dressing up as a transvestite. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, for those, I don't know if you've seen him, but he obviously got gay tendencies. You know what I'm saying? Even when he's out of the role and character of mama, of grandmama, you know what I'm saying, which he actually says his aunt. Even when he's out of that role, you know what I'm saying, his hands and everything is still moving like a female's. Even though he got the deep voice on your ass, you know what I'm saying, he's still moving like a female. Now there's something wrong with that. So there's still some things that need to be questioned. And so children are watching this, parents are watching this, and the children are watching the mothers laugh at this man dressed up like a woman. So this seems as if it's going to make the black child say to himself, black male child say to himself, but damn, mommy finds this funny. Mommy finds a man dressed up as a woman funny. So that becomes acceptable to him in his mind state. Not realizing, you go to Leviticus, the 18th chapter, the 22nd verse, it speaks about the fact of God don't like homosexuality. That God actually says in there that mankind should not lie with other mankind as he lies with womankind. You know what I'm saying? So, and say this is an abomination. You just don't say this is a sin. He said this is an abomination. So right there, you know what I'm saying? So this is part of this multicultural bullshit that they try to lead us into. And this so-called free lifestyles. When I was coming up in college, they started teaching this so-called free lifestyle bullshit around in the late 80s. This is when they started teaching this shit. And so now the black males at an all-time rate are turning to homosexuality. Because now it's a free lifestyle. In other words, you're free to do whatever you want to do. If this is the lifestyle that you wish to lead, then do so. So this is what's going on. We follow the scriptures in the fact that it's real simple. Of what we stated earlier, that man represents the positive pole. His positive pole is actually his penis itself. The woman represents the magnetic attraction or magnetic suction, which is symbolic to the if you want to get technical, the only thing which that can cause the spark of life or create what is called AC/DC, what we call current, alternative current and direct current, is a plug, which is symbolic to the penis, and a socket, which is symbolic to the vaginal area. And when it goes like that, boom, life comes into existence. All right, or that healing energy comes to existence. This is what you are able now to see me on is on this camera because of this same state of this plug and socket. So this is natural. This is natural. You know, so we're not talking about homosexuality is unnatural. It's unnatural. All right. Some other things we're gonna go over is the fact of let me see here. Okay. All right. Brother Sinetta got one of the nice joints for me. Right here. You'll see a man and a woman. And as we would say in North Carolina, the brother got the sister in the huckabuck. All right. Now, this will be what we call the turtle position. Now, the science of this is that this particular position heals the kidneys, the liver, and what is called the pancreas. So a person who have diabetes, if they practice this doing what is called the 9-stroke technique, in which that is within this book right here, I'm showing you all the books in which that y'all need to get. This is called a dial or dial of sexuology. A sexology. It's by Dr. Stephen T. Chan. In his book, he goes into detail about the different positions. I'll show you some of them and what organs it heals. Like for example, this particular position um, heals impotency, premature ejaculation, and difficulties in achieving orgasms or sexual related problems. Okay. The top position here, it energizes the body. That's what this does. This top position here energizes the body. This position here, which is the male and the female line sideways, it heals the liver and the kidneys, and also by the man and the woman placing their hands at the kidney area, that would generate more of the healing powers of the kidneys being healed, and also it increases the orgasm power because your kidneys represents your water element within the physical body. So if you're having problems with your orgasms, then the first thing in which that you would check out is your kidneys. All right. This particular position here, once again, is the female and the male lying sideways. The female got one of her legs pulled back. This is for bone weakening and for broken bones and for bone marrows disease. It helps with leukemia, different other ailments. Also arthritis. All right. On the left side, the male is on this side now, and the woman's on the right side, but she's laying on the opposite. It was just like the reverse um role in which that we just finished looking at. But this particular way, the man is laying on his left side, and this heals him as far as his high blood pressure, as far as blood related problems, his liver. All right. Also it helps with his heart as far as his arteries. All right. The woman on top and the man is the one who moved from up underneath. In this regard, that heals the blood problems as well as blood pressure problems. Anybody who has done this particular technique, and they have blood pressure problems such as high blood pressure or either heart problems, they know that this actually works. I can bear witness to this definitely. All right. For those that being that there's so much aluminum in everything, and plus the chemtrails in which that is falling on us, um, we come to find out is that it has barium as well as also aluminum in them trails. Too much aluminum when it's stored up in the brain causes Alzheimer's. Um, when we take aluminum and we put it up on our arms, in which that you call anti um what is it, anti perspirant, what we call deodorant. Um, it oftentimes can cause knots to come up under your arm because that aluminum um, is stored up into your lymphatic system. Well, this particular movement here helps the lymphatic system problems. And this is the woman on top, and once again, the male is moving from up underneath. Okay. Now this is the overall healing position here. This position here for any problems in which that you can think of. All right. The woman is laying down. Her leg is back. Her right leg is forward. Left leg is back, and the man is on top. This is the overall position for the man. Now these are the 7 positions for the women here, in which that we go into. Um, the woman is up underneath, and she is gyrating and rotating her body um, up underneath um, up underneath the male.
Yeah, get into how she drains the energy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a second.
And the reason why we are tired.
Right. Well, the thing is that the woman represents, once again, is the negative magnetic force. So she's actually at this point doing her 7 positions, doing her 7 healing positions. She's actually, being that she's rejuvenated you already in those former positions, in which that we just finished going over. Now it's time for her to become rejuvenated. So she's actually is absorbing the life force in which that was generated between y'all into her in order to heal herself. This is a natural thing. This is the once again the power and the balance of sex, of sexuality. If we notice that sexuality or sex or gender was one of the 7 laws of Tahuti, who we call Hermes Trimestis. So you have polarity, correspondence, rhythm, vibration, cause and effect, or what we call karma, mentalism, as well as also sex or gender. Um, this is one of the sciences of Tahuti. Tahuti means wisdom. So this means you have to be wise in your sexual act. Um, in these 7 positions that we're going to go over, it speaks specifically about how she rejuvenates. And what it is that at this point of when her healing takes place, she becomes the active force. She rotates up underneath the male, um, clockwise and counterclockwise in a circular position. And this energy is bought and stored within the navel area within the woman. Within the males, it is brought to the head area and stored here. So we're gonna go on here, and I get more to that in a second. Um, the male is on top again here. Woman have her legs wrapped around his buttocks area, and this is good for the pancreas and liver. Um, for the woman, she once again rotates up under the male. All right, here go the huckabuck position, in which that we just finished seeing coming from off of the statue in ancient Kemet. The woman lying on her back and everything. And once again, she's rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. And once again, it's right here. It's good for the spleen, stomach, female organs. Dealing with the uterus, as well as also digestive problems. All right. This goes back also to the fact of it's also good for the kidneys and the liver, for as moving out the toxins from out of the system. All right. Um, here go another position here is the woman on top. We'll get into the various names for it because there's different names throughout the culture for these different positions. This here helps with the kidneys and the bladder problems, as well as also high a person who have high fever and also pituitary gland problems for the female in a particular position. And when she gets on top and she turns away from the male, all right, here she is turning forward towards the male. This one right here. All right, this is good for the nerve problems and different things like that. Go ahead.
So that doing as the woman is on top, she's the one that's doing the most work this time, training
Right,
energy into it.
right, right, right. This is her time to move and gyrate and rotate. That's why it should be balanced in the sexual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Take time.
it takes turns as far as the gyrating and doing the clockwise and the counterclockwise rotations. We'll get more into that because there's a technique in here which that speaks about the 9, stroke technique in which that the male, um, basically, the best thing I can say is that there's 9 sets of the man doing deep strokes and shallow strokes. There would be like one um, deep stroke, 8 shallow strokes, um, 7 shallow strokes, 2 deep thrusts, as they would say, and it would go down. What that does is give the man the ability in order to, um, number one, learn how not to ejaculate quickly. It will help him concentrate his energies on opening and awakening his mind, because actually in that process of doing a stroke technique, what he needs to do is take his eyes and go up. His eyes will go up as he's doing the sexual act, and he would think about drawing the energy from the base of his spine up to the top of his head. And if thus doing so, that opens and activates more portions of his mind. See, and when you practice pranic healing, qigong, tai chi, or what is called pranayama, or either tantra kriya yoga, um, the energy can be left here for the male at the head area. For the woman, it will circle back down and be stored in the navel area. Okay. Um, Now, of course, the male can take the energy from here and distribute it equally throughout all of his body if he knows how to do the proper techniques. We're gonna get into that in a second. I just want to finish the positions here. Um, this is like the last position here. Once again, is a variance of the of what we right. This we call this the huckabop. Right. And it speaks right here. It's good for the blood shortage, for poor circulation and everything. This is one of the best ones. All right. This is the last position here. We're gonna show from out of this book. But this is a good book to get. One of the matter of fact, this is one of the first books that I read on sexuality was this book here, like around in 1991, 92. That's one of the first ones we read. The second one that we got into was this magnificent. Oh man, this is a hell of a book. This is the revised one. For those that have the original copy of The Jewel and the Lotus, I recommend that you make copies of it, because the information that's in that book, like for example, the Cobra breath, is not in this book, but it was in the original version. I guess they took it out because it was just too much information. But this is written by Saraswati. This guy here who actually wrote this book is now living in Winston-Salem in North Carolina, and he's actually teaching a lot of the brothers in which that I know these sacred arts of qigong and how to use the energy. Same thing in which that Mantak Chia is doing now. All right, but in this book, there's various exercises in which that some of the exercises we're gonna get into here in a second. Like for example, let's see here. This is where your kidneys are located at. What you would do is lightly tap on your kidneys. The reason for the kidneys tap is that your kidneys actually is what rejuvenate and gives you more added pressure to your orgasms and your ejaculation. Like for example, if the man is if he orgasm, like for example, a young male, young black male, he can orgasm. He can orgasm at least up to 3 feet away from himself. You know what I'm saying? The semen comes shooting out at least 3 feet away from him. As you get older, that ability decreases, and sometimes it would just dribble out. In that case, you will work on strengthening your kidneys, as well as also your prostate gland, in which that is called the deer technique or deer exercise, in which that you will pull up your anal muscles and tighten up your buttocks, or either the same area in which that is called your perineum, in which that is situated right between um, the anus and the scrotum area. Your scrotum, your testicles, and your anus. There's an indenture or area in which that is like is like you can press it. Within this book here, he called it the $1 million spot.
Yeah, that's between the anal area.
Right, and the scrotum. Right.
When you, especially when the woman.
Right.
The woman, she feel you getting ready to.
Right. She can take her She can take her hand and wrap it around your buttocks and press that area, and that will stop the male from ejaculating too quickly. All right. Now the bad thing about that though is that the penis will go soft at that point. So there's another technique in which that you can learn, in which that, but she would have to wait in order for you to get back up, which shouldn't take long. But instead of doing that, the man can just draw in his anal muscles as he's, for example, as he's in, as he comes out, he'll draw up or draw in his anal muscles as he comes out. Tighten it up. And what that would do is cause the male to be able to last for long periods of time. The male can last up to almost 3 hours if he knows how to do it properly. So that sexual act itself can last 3 hours, if not more. All right. I'm being generous with the estimate because really you can damn near go all night long if you know how to do it properly. So that is also another technique. In that technique, the penis doesn't go down. All right. And as he's drawing his anal muscles up as he comes out, he'll also draw his eyes up. See, that's the thing, is that the reason why brothers might, I heard sisters, call some brothers, this is a 2-minute man or whatever the case may be. The reason why is it's real simple, is because that brother is thinking about getting that, you know what I'm saying? And doing everything he can, you know what I'm saying? He's like, damn, I don't know how long this might last, in other words, he's so excited. It's so much damn excitement built up, is that excitement is released within a matter of minutes. You know what I'm saying? So in order to make that experience last longer, sisters, you know what I'm saying, you might want to give these brothers some of these ideas as far as him drawing the energy up, or what's called the Kundalini energy up to the top of the head, him focusing on the symbol of Atan. Like in ancient Kemet, if you ever seen Atan, which was a disc and then the wings was out like this, what that was the symbol of that was symbolic to the expansion of the mind. So if he actually visualized that symbol when that energy comes up, then that what will happen inside of his mind is that it would expand. So he would be able to focus his attention on something other than just getting that ass, if you understand what I'm saying. It would be on a higher mental level. So therefore, he's not just thinking about getting that ass and tearing that ass up. He's thinking now that, this is about healing. This is about expanding the mind, becoming the most spiritual being that you become. You know what I'm saying? While still in the flesh. All right. This right here, the multiple orgasmic man. This teaches the man how to have the multiple orgasms. This goes back to what I'm telling you, is that there's a technique called the hold back technique, in which that when the man is either masturbating or either when the man is in the sexual intercourse act itself. I'm gonna go in the sexual intercourse act itself first. When he's in the sexual act itself, right at the brink of when he's getting ready to orgasm, he will pull out, not all the way. He'll just pull out to when the penis, the head of the penis is still inside of the vaginal area, but he would pull his anal muscles up, his perineum up, and hold it for 3 seconds. Breathe in, then relax. Out through the mouth. Then he would continue on with the sexual act. He would do that approximately 10 times. Now, I'm going to tell you what happens after the 10th time of doing this. When on the 10th time that you do this, your pineal gland becomes fully activated. That means there's no disease in which that can rest within the physical body at this particular time period. The pineal gland, when it's activated, it can heal everything in which that you're directing the body to, directing the energies to, any ailment in any particular part of the body. Heart disease can be eliminated by doing this technique. Diabetes, lung problems, all of these things don't even have to exist if the brother learns this whole back technique and do it at least 10 times. As he's doing it, once again, he get to the brink of when he get ready to orgasm and he stops. Pull up the anal muscles of perineum. Breathe in. Hold it. Out through the mouth. We do that 10 times. So, go ahead.
You do that 10 times before you enter back.
No. You do it only when you get ready. Only when you get ready. Think that you get ready to orgasm. Now, when you do this, you build up so much force in that area that once again, even if you're 50 years old and you ain't and the semen, you know what I'm saying, you ain't seen semen shoot out your penis, you know what I'm saying, 3 feet ever since you were probably a teenager. What this would do is give that male that ability in order to do that. You know what I'm saying? In other words, it would shoot out now because it has been held back. In other words, the tension there has built up to such an excitement, you know what I'm saying, that the sperm is now able to. So if he's trying to get the woman pregnant, you know what I'm saying, then that's one of the best things in which that can be done is the semen being able to shoot forth, because it would go right there near where the cervix area is, in which that the cervix area dips itself within the semen. The sperm is drawn up, you know what I'm saying, in order to enter into the fallopian tubes, finally into the ovaries and to the egg. That whole thing there is also metaphysical, because you come to find out is that same chosen sperm that we talked about before, which that traveled up within the male to the third ventricle and traveled back down to the testicles to wait to be gushed forth and to be released. That chosen sperm is protected by the rest of those sperms. We think that it's a race. You know what I'm saying? That there's fighting against, you know what I'm saying, that there's a fight against the other sperms, you know what I'm saying, to get who's ever going to be there first. That's the white man interpretation. And we know with his interpretation is often wrong. The real science is that the sperm is already been chosen. Everybody else know who the chosen sperm is, who the strongest sperm is, and they are there in order to make sure that he get to his reward. So by the time that is over, you done seen over 700 million sperms dwindle down to 144,000 sperms. This is where the Bible comes in at, because this is what it was talking about. So those 144,000 sperms, in which that sits outside the perimeter of the egg, they're eating away at the egg in order to allow the one to go in. This is what happens. Now, the head of the sperm breaks off. The tail comes detaches and breaks off. The head blows up to the equivalent size of the nucleus of the egg. At that point, gestation takes place, or what we call meiosis or mitosis. That's when the cells begin to divide. If the sperm head is not as large as the or even if it's larger than the nucleus of the egg, then life would not come into existence. It has to be balanced. It has to be equal, and that's when the process began to take place, from 2 to 4 to 6 to eventually 8 cells. Those 8 cells are spoken about within the ancient Egyptian text, as far as from Adam came forth, from Adam through his semen came forth Shu, Tefnut. From Shu and Tefnut came forth Nut and Geb. From Nut and Geb came forth Osar, Set, and Nebhet. Those are the 8 from that one, which is Atum, in which that we talking about. Those are the 8 dividing cells of mitosis. Excuse me. So that's what that's all talking about. Now, another thing in which that is important is the science of acupressure and reflexology, and also body massaging during the foreplay portion of the sexual intimate sexual act. Your hands, your feet, and your ears are maps of your whole physical body. All right. The top of your feet, the top of your toes, the top of your fingers, they're all symbolic to the head area, to the brain. So to squeeze them for a matter of 6 seconds, your fingers, top of the fingers or the top of your toes, that helps send energy to the brain. This area here is the neck and shoulders. This area here is to the lungs, and to the center is the heart, the spleen, the liver, the digestive system. All right. The genital system, or the genital area, is right here. So the brain starts here within the hand. Stimulate the head area. Any problem with the throat area would be in these areas here, with the thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, larynx area. Right? This area here would be the shoulders, the upper portion of the lung area. All right? This portion here would be the heart. This area here would be the spleen. This area here would be the liver, pancreas area, digestive area, and then here at the genitalia area right here.
So would you say that would be the first thing to do before you into?
Well, we know that foreplay is always used before the before the sexual act. So oftentimes there is massaging in which that is involved in intimacy. By studying acupressure, by studying reflexology, one becomes more adept at making the transition and moving blockages of energies. This is what foreplay is actually about. Is removing blockages of energies beforehand. You know, like for example, if there's like we know that like when people get hurt in relationships, the thing in which that happens is that they'll build a blockage within their heart area. Well, there's a technique in qigong in which that you will rub the heart 36 times this way, and then 36 times this way, and you will rub that area, and then just take your hands and place it over the heart and the lungs. So that will help before the sexual act even gets started, to relieve that baggage of emotions beforehand. Okay. And then next after that will actually be rubbing of the abdomen area. The woman will rub, the man will rub the woman, or the woman will rub herself 36 times with her left hand in a clockwise position. And then the man or the woman, once again, they will switch hands and rub 36 times in the counter rotation. right here at the abdomen at the navel area. Now, for the male himself, when he's doing it, he would take his right hand and hold his testicles. He would have his testicles in his hand, and he would rub his tummy or stomach area 36 times this way, and then switch hands, testicles within the left hand, and then rub in the counterclockwise position 36 times this way. Now, his testicles, the brother will also massage each testicle 36 times. 36 times, he would like that, 36 times in his hand, each one at a time. Then with the other one. So
that does
what that does is build up the ability of that builds up the semen volume in the testicles. And what it also does is stop testicle cancer from occurring and prostate cancer from occurring. Okay. That is, what the brother can do. Now, once again, this is during the foreplay act or right before the foreplay act. All right. The brother can also take his penis, when it's hard, and beat it on his thighs, on the right 36 times, and then on the left 36 times. And what that would do is cause the head of his penis to increase in blood, giving him a more mushroom shape penis head, in which that as it goes into the woman's vaginal area, she has ridges. What it would do is cause the head of the penis to hit the ridges, causing the woman to become, stimulated much more so, overstimulated, if that's what we really want to say. A good book in which that speaks about that is this book right here, Sexual Reflexology. Sexual reflexology. Don't mind the crackers on the front. The goddamn information is powerful up in here.
come from you.
Right, it's all ours. It's all ours. This is written by Mantak Chia. Now he's Oriental Chinese, but there's crackers on the front of the goddamn cover. But there's cracker on the front of the multi orgasmic man too, written by him. These two books here are the best books on what I'm talking about. The Healing Love Through the Tao, Cultivating Female Sexual Energy, and the Taoist Secrets of Love, Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. The information which I just finished talking about, as far as the male, you can learn from this purple book right here. Now I'm getting to the female information right here. The woman can do what is called, I think y'all probably all remember my man Pharaoh March when he, Simon Says, when he said, "Girls, rub on your titties." yo, he was right. According to the book, you know what I'm saying, the female will actually rub around her the darker part area of her nipples, right above the nipple area, rub in this manner 36 times. What that would do is cause the heart to activate, the heart chakra to activate. And that would give the woman more affinity to love you. You know what I'm saying? In that regard. So fellas, I advise you to tell the sister to rub on them titties. You know what I'm saying? And once again, it's in this manner, just like this right here. Just like this manner right here. Right, over the dark part of the nipples. Right, over the dark part of the nipples.
What about you? Can you do that?
The male?
No, I'm talking about, can the man do it to the woman?
Yes, he can. Both. That's what I'm saying. Okay. If the woman can do it, that's fine. The male can do it for the female. All right. Remember, once again, we're talking about foreplay here and getting you up to the point of the sexual act. I just want to go over the positions first because we got so much other information to go into. You know what I'm saying? But
don't forget to throw in the oral too.
I'm getting ready.
Foreplay.
Right.
And tie that in connection with our ancient ancestors.
Got you.
Have they done that?
Right.
Because a lot of people think that comes straight from the Puerto Ricans.
No.
Or the white man.
The white man. Right.
You know?
No. We've been doing love. We've been doing this love thing for a long damn time. But There's also another thing in which that the woman can do, in which that she can draw up her vaginal area and in her G spot area, which is actually equivalent to our perineum, and she would be in this position right here with her feet about shoulder width apart. And by what she's doing is actually breathing in, and what she's going to do is, and she's going to breathe in energy to her navel area. And what it does here is by storing this energy to the navel area, what that does is give her the ability in order to rejuvenate her sexual organs, as well as also rejuvenate your sexual organs as you enter into her. So that would be the first strong bond, because in the act of intimacy, the chakras in which that are mostly activated is the genitalia chakras, the heart chakra, and the third eye chakra. Those three are the major ones in which that this flow of kundalini energy or umbandalini energy comes up through. All right. Or what we call the shinkaras. Instead of saying chakras, this is called the shinkaras from ancient Kemet. That's what it was called, the shinkaras, or the souls of Ra, as it has become known as within the English form. And as we know, there were 7 souls of Ra, and those 7 souls of Ra became known as the 7 angels or the 7 Elohims within the various scripts. Now, when we get into the oral sex thing, you find out is that for the male and for the woman, that we're gonna go into the male, the head of the penis is symbolic to the heart. The rim of the penis is symbolic to the lungs. The area right below, or the right below the head of the penis area, is symbolic to the spleen and to the pancreas. The area below that is symbolic to the liver, and then the area right below that, to the base of the penis, is symbolic to the kidneys. Okay, it's the same thing with the woman inside of the vaginal areas. As far as the vaginal area can go up towards the cervix, is symbolic to the heart. As you come out, it becomes symbolic to the kidneys. So, for a brother who's doing what is called fingering technique, in which that he's fingering a woman, make sure that he goes the whole length of the vaginal area, getting all them organs to excrete their hormones, because each of those organs excrete hormones. All right, like for example, the kidneys, right above the kidneys are the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands is what produces adrenaline. All right. The pancreas produces what? Insulin. Um, 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 you go up, the thyroid glands, or the thymus gland, which is right above the heart, and the thyroid glands right above the thymus gland. They produce hormones. All right. So it's about keeping the physical body in balance. The woman should not just suck on the head of the penis, because she actually can cause a man to have a heart attack if he has a weak heart. All right. She should go up and down as much of the length of the penis that she possibly can, therefore hitting all of the areas. What they call fellatio, and that's what she sucking the penis, whatever term that we want to use. That's what she should do, is go up and down upon the penis, hitting all of those areas which that we just finished talking about, from the heart down to the kidneys. Within the male, he should take his tongue and massage the whole area of the clitoris. All right. The clit is nothing more than a small dick, if you want to know the truth of the matter. All right. It has a head. Matter of fact, the head of it looked just like the damn head of the penis. I mean, you pull back the skin, it's damn uncircumcised. You know what I'm saying? For those males that are still uncircumcised, you run the whole length. Once again, the head of the clit is symbolic to the heart. The back portion of it goes down to the kidneys, from the heart to the lungs to the spleen, pancreas, liver, kidneys. All right. A good book in which that shows and demonstrates that Let's see this here. And also, if y'all notice, I took off my rings while I was doing the healing because you're actually not supposed to have on any metal while you're doing healing because it causes problems. Because if you're trying to cast off negative energy, only thing it's going to do is store that negative energy up, and basically what you're going to do is just take that negative energy back on. So you take the rings off before you do any major healing. And also, this also includes the sexual act itself. You don't have no, don't, do not keep any rings on or any type of metal on during the sexual act. All right. Here go the picture of what I'm talking about. As you see, same thing that I was just finished talking about. The head area represents the heart. The rim area of the head of the penis represents the lungs. The area right up under spleen and the pancreas. The area right up under that, the liver. Right up under that, the kidney. Exact same thing.
Right.
Right. We'll turn to the next page. All right. Here we go with the vaginal area. And as you see, the deepest part is just like I said, is symbolic to the heart. Then right up in that, the lungs, the spleen and pancreas, the liver. Yes, this is the womb. And the kidneys right here near the vaginal opening. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. So that's why I was saying, fellas, when you finger the woman, make sure you get the length of the whole canal in order to make sure that there's balance in between these five particular organs, 5 to 6 particular organs, okay? Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, is that a finger? No, I think no. Either the penis one.
Yeah, that look like a pen.
It does look like it. Yeah. Hmm. But this is once again one of the best books to get. All right. Um, this book here, The Tao and the Health, Sex, and Longevity by Daniel P. Reed is also a good book. This book here, though, speaks more about the science of health before the sexual act even began, about how important the sexual the health aspect is. Because if you have kidney problems, then you shouldn't even be busting nuts, male, and women shouldn't even be orgasming. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to get that water area back in balance. The kidneys represents the water reservoir of the physical body. So doing that technique that I showed you earlier will help with that principle. Also, the males taking his testicles in his hands and rubbing his tummy 36 times and the other way 36 times, that will also help. Now, of course, it ain't gonna just be 36 times. It always is the multiple of 9. Be 36 times, 63 times, 81 times. It always comes back to the multiple of 9. Because 9 represents the born a thing into existence or to manifest something. But that's how the ancients have it also, is that they say 36 times, 63 times, 81 times, however the case may be. All right. Um, Also, one of the excellent things is this right here. Excellent books is 100 Days to a Better Health, Great Sex, and Long Life. This is by Eric Stevens on Lord or Udalore Love. A guide to Taoist yoga and Qigong. All right. Mantak Chia said it best. He said the reason why this information is now coming out at an all-time high rate is because of the simple fact is we live in some parallel times. We live in near the end of the world. So for those in which that are actually going to practice these techniques they're gonna be able to take this information and pass it on to the next generation of children. You know what I'm saying? So that they can have this information on in memory. All right. Um, um, so this information is now being let out through the world. And actually, if you notice, it's only those in which that really is going to actually apply these techniques, in which that actually is going to excel with the powers in which that we just finished talking about. These everything that we've been saying so far adds life to you. All right, it adds life. You have approximately 12 meridians, and these 12 meridians are broken down, and they lead to the head, the heart, to the feet, to the fingers, to the hands, down the arms, down the legs. These 12 meridians, when they are all activated. Now, we're gonna give you a technique on how to activate meridians. Some of the information is found right in here in the jewel and the lotus, but I'm going to show you the technique right now. We would sit up straight, hands on your knees, and what you would do is pull up your anal muscles. And as you pull up your anal muscle, you would breathe in. Lean forward. Hold it as long as you can.
Now you come back.
And you let them out, you come back. Now you would do this at least 12 to 15 times. Okay.
Right under that. Put the door.
Huh? Oh, pull it out. Oh.
Yeah, take it. Sweet. No. Yeah, like that. All right.
Right. That is one of the methods of opening and awakening your meridians and your not and your nodes, as they call it, or your nadis on your nodes. All right. Another technique is similar to that one that we just showed, but you would breathe in for a count of 6. And at that same time of breathing in, pull up your anal muscles and you will lean forward. And you do this for a count of 10. And as you leaning back, you would do the humming noise. If you notice in nature, the humming noise is the noise in which that represents high, high vibratory animals. Like for example, the hummingbird, the humming, the bumblebee, the mosquito, the fly. They all make that same noise and they fly, they soar into the air. That is also one of the things in which that you can do as far as raising your vibratory rates, you and the female, before the sexual act even begin. So far, what we've gone over is techniques on before the sexual act happens, the breathing and meditations that we just went over. Before that, um, um, the techniques in which that the male can do, the female can do, as far as um, sending energy to the navel chakra, sending energy up to the top of the head. Also acupuncture, not puncture, but acupressure. Also, what we would call reflexology. Um, Now, something else I'm gonna show y'all, which that deals with the science of health and healing, is based upon this principle right here. Is the art of qigong. Okay, this is by Wong Chigu Kit. What I'm showing you is some of the most powerful information that I've come across as far as healing, the sexual experience and the sexual healing experience. Hopefully, we're gonna get into them questions here in a second. But before we do, I want to show y'all some basic exercises of qigong, in which that raise the individual um, up. You know what I'm saying? That give them a longer lifespan, because that's actually what qigong is said to do. Energy is taken from the cosmos, from the air in which that you breathe, in which that's called prana, and is stored within the physical body, thus increasing and causing your life force to expand, therefore giving you longevity. All right. The most common methods of qigong is what I'm getting ready to show you now. All right. Your feet will be at a 45, well, not even 45, but at a shoulder width apart. Hands rested on your thigh. Your pelvis would be tilted forward slightly. Your head would be as if it was dangling like a puppet from your head would be like it's dangling from like a string puppet. Right, it would be loose. Right, everything would be real relaxed. First thing we're gonna do is breathe in, and as we breathe in, we're gonna raise our arms up.
That's similar to like breathing exercise as well.
Now you would do that at least 20 times. Another method is this.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Doing the next right then. You read them right there. Okay.
I'll tell you.
Here talk to you right now. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Times also. Now we're gonna show you two more exercises in which that we normally do. We need a little bit, move over a little bit here. Once again, 45-degree angle. I mean, excuse me, shoulder width apart. Um, pelvis tilted forward. Arms go up like a bird, and as they go up, you squat just a little. You come up like a bird. You would do that approximately 20 times or so. The last exercise is actually um, this right here. We would bring up the hands.
That's
I'm gonna tell you the signs of each one as I finish. All right. The one that I just finished doing, what this does is cleanse your auric field. As your hands come down, approximately your auric field extends 3 feet outside of your physical body. Therefore, as you bring your hands down, you're bringing cleansing new energy into your auric field. This one, when we first did, we bring it up and bring it down. What that does is clear the emotional body. It clears the energy from your genital area, from your navel area, and from your heart, and from your throat area. So you bring it up and you bring down.
As you bring it down, you exhale.
You exhale and you're pushing negative energy away. And as you bring it up, you bringing new energy up. This one, when we did like this,
In all of this, you can find we've been doing this ancient time.
and this is ancient. It's on the walls of ancient Egypt.
Right.
It's on the walls in Japan. It's on the walls in China, in Japan. It's in the walls in Tibet. It's everywhere. You know, this is where aerobics got its start from. It was from these slow moving breathing exercises. But the white man has to hyperventilate himself. That's why they were sped up. So this right here in the aerobics class was actually this.
That's why, yes, that's right, brother. And that's why when we see our people
Right.
Kung Fu,
Right.
they do it like in the,
Right. In the circular.
like when they practicing and they kicking and
Oh, Wing Chun. Right.
Like slow motion.
It's right. It's in slow motion. The katas. You know what I'm saying? It's in karate. They call it the katas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's the thing. You know, but the European has to hyperventilate himself. You know what I'm saying? He has too much bilirubin in his blood. You know what I'm saying? You know, so he has to do that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, that's what makes his eyes blue.
And that's why they always running all the damn time.
Always running. Right. Because right. They have to hyperventilate themselves. We don't. You know what I'm saying? We can do the slow motion thing and produce sweat. That's just like a person who's been running 20 miles.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And we can do it in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? If everybody do them 20 times and I'm telling them to do each exercise, those 4 exercises that we just did, they'll actually be literally sweating afterwards. I promise you. Because it's about removing toxins from your liver and from your body. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we focus so much on the liver is because the liver has over 500 functions in your body. Over 500 functions. Also, another thing when you're doing Tai Chi, being that I got this microphone here, I can't do it, but right below the hollow area of the throat is what is called your thymus gland. You tap on your thymus gland 25 times, 3 times a day. This comes from us watching nature and watching the ape. When the ape gets frustrated and mad at somebody who's, you know, come in and trespassed on his territory, he'll beat on his chest. And he'll beat on his chest in this middle area because what he's doing is trying to make sure that he don't tear and rip you apart. And plus, so much adrenaline is going through his body and he's in a fearful state for you might attack him. So he's trying to calm himself down by actually literally beating on his chest. The thymus gland is what controls your lymphatic system and your immune or defense system, as we call it. It's your thymus gland. When you get to the age of 13, it becomes atrophied. In other words, it begins to shrink. And by the time that you're 40 years old, man, that shit is about the goddamn size of a damn pea. Shit done shrunk and became hard. You know what I'm saying? So you by beating on it, it keeps it malleable. It keeps it engulfed with blood. So it keeps it larger. You know what I'm saying? So after the age of puberty, beat on that gland. You know what I'm saying? And that's what caused you to stay in health. It's, you know, keep your lymphatic system good. You know what I'm saying? Keep them poisons from getting large within your lymphatic system. Because wherever the poisons get large in your lymphatic system, there's going to be inflammation and swelling. You know what I'm saying? So you might got tonsils that need to be taken out. Why? Because that's deal with your lymphatic system. So now tonsils got to be taken out because the poisons are not able to be moved from this area here. When they get large up on your arms, you know what I'm saying? You know, same thing. It can happen in the pubic area, happen in the head area. It can happen. So the lymphatic system has to be in a good state. And by tapping on your thymus gland 3 times a day, 25 times, it helps re-energize. Right. Something else we want to teach you about is the sounds of healing. All right. We've gone over the sounds before, but when you're in the sexual act itself, the sounds in which that you say, we will give you illustrations. Like, for example, you know, the female listen, you know what I'm saying? That is the same sound as the sound that the Tibetan monks chant, you know what I'm saying, for hours. Nothing new. You know what I'm saying? You know, the man say, shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, the S sound cleanses the liver. That SH sound cleanses the liver.
Phil talked about one time when he did his sex tape. He said the women don't have no problem showing their pleasure in making the sound. He said, but it's always the man that always try to be cool. Right. He said, you bullshit.
Right.
He said every time he making love, he like, oh.
Right. Let it out. She want to hear it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is.
He said, if you ain't doing that, brothers, then you're bullshit.
Hey, I got to admit, you know what I'm saying? Your Phil is on point with that. You know what I'm saying? But this, once again, is just a prelude, you know what I'm saying? When we get actually into the information, it's going to be off the chain, I promise you. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we deal with the healing sounds, the I sound, the E sound, the Y sound, the A sound, the sound, the ha sound, the ka sound, the sh sound, the O sound, and the U sound. All of these sounds are actually made while you are having sex. When the woman says, ooh, that ooh sound is the same as the U and the O sound, in which that heals the navel and the genital area. You know what I'm saying? The reason why she's making that sound is because at that particular time, healing needs to be placed and taken at that. Healing needs to be energy need to go to that particular area at that time. You need to focus on that area. You know, there's times when female, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That I sound that, you know, comes out with the E sound. It represents the head area. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be a healing in that particular, in other words, by the sounds, you know where the healing has taken place at. This is the science of the sounds of healing. So, you know, we know that for sure that's what takes place. Now, in Qigong, we use the sounds of healing in particular positions. Like, for example, this position here would be the A sound. The A sound deals with your thyroid glands and your parathyroid glands and your tonsils. It helps heal the whole throat area. Now, what's deep about that is that it also taps into your thymus gland and helps heal the lymphatic system. Okay? So whenever the woman is making the sound, oh, you know, that type of noise, that's what's taking place, you know what I'm saying, throughout the body. It said, that's right there's the heart. You got her heart. When by the time she get to that sound, you got her heart. You know what I'm saying? And this might even be for a female who said, yo, this is just a one-time thing, blah, say blah, you know what I'm saying, nothing more. If you hear her making that sound, guarantee you, afterwards she's gonna be saying that she want to get back up with you again. She want to be with you. It's gonna change the whole, it's gonna flip the whole thing. Because that's the sound in which the woman give when you have her heart. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you don't hear that sound, you know what I'm saying, then best believe, you know what I'm saying, it's not there. So, you know, you know, sorry. You know what I'm saying? But this is how powerful the sounds are, and this is how you know what you're dealing with when you're in the bedroom, fellas. You know what I'm saying? For the brothers who are like, for example, not all vaginal and not all penises match. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the female canal might be too short. Now, how this is how you would know is by looking at the fingers, looking at the fingers, the toes, the ears, the lips, and the nose, and the eyes of the female. Like, for example, fellas, if a female have dimples, that means she have a double ring vagina. All right. Now, if she have a double ring vagina, that means you as the male, you know what I'm saying, you might have a longer penis, and you might be able to go into that area, and then there becomes another opening, and that another opening is actually her cervix area in which that you can enter into. Now, sometimes that causes pain for her. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't. It's all based on the female and on the individual. You know what I'm saying? But that can give you extra added pleasure. Now, of course, you feeling pleasure from it, but she might feel discomfort. It's all based on, once again. But a female with dimples, she has that ability to open her cervix area up, open, and allow you to come into it. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily a good thing, because it's said that when that happens, those type of females live a shorter lifetime than those in which that don't have that capability. But that is one of the signs in which that you know for a woman who will have that capability. For a woman who has watery eyes, she has a wet vaginal area. For a woman who has thick lips, she has thick vaginal lips. All right, fat vaginal lips. Based on her nose width, if her nose is thick, you know what I'm saying, that means that her vaginal canal is wide. Okay. Um, um, Now, also based on the her shape of the buttocks, if she's got big buttocks, you know what I'm saying, then that means that she'd be a good mother, nurturing, loving, you know what I'm saying, and that she's also strong, and you know, as far as genetically, you know what I'm saying, for a female who has small or flat buttocks, you know what I'm saying, that means that basically she has a small sex drive, or small to medium sex drive. You know what I'm saying? You know how brothers like it. Brothers love the big buttocks. So that's how how we like to roll. But Drew Pookman spoke about it in the book, in which that she compared the buttocks to the brain area, and saying that a woman with nice, firm, big buttocks, that is actually symbolic to the fact of the woman mental capacity. Okay. And I definitely agree with her, because I can see what she was talking about. Because the halves of the brain, you know what I'm saying, when you look at the brain, you know what I'm saying, when it's overcast, it does look like it could be, you know what I'm saying, a buttocks. You know what I'm saying? And then you got inside of the brain the pineal gland, which looks like the head of the penis. And then you got in there the pituitary gland, that which looks like the vaginal area of the woman vaginal area. It looks identical. And it said that in order to produce Jesus or Heru, or the higher conscious state, the penis, or the pineal gland as it's called, massages that vaginal area of the pituitary gland, and actually shoots off an etheric chemical called chrism, in which that brings forth your Christ energy into a higher manifestation, into the highest manifestation. So even in your brain, you have sex. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, sex itself comes from the mental, in what is called your hypothalamus gland area. Your hypothalamus gland, which is the area right behind the perineum, not the perineum, but excuse me, behind the pineal gland, is actually what is called the seat of pleasure. Now, this area being called the seat of pleasure, it is what gives you the ability in order to lust. It gives you the ability in order to have also emotions such as joy, love, you know what I'm saying, but also give you the ability in order to have them other negative ability emotions too. But this area there is called the seat of pleasure. It can actually, when it's in proportion with the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, it actually causes the physical body to go into the most erotic states possible. So what qigong does is help taps into those particular areas of the brain, because the first area that the cosmic energy comes into you at is at the head area through your antennas, or through what is called your 9 etheric, 8 etheric, 7 etheric hair follicles. You know what I'm saying? And as that energy comes into your pores, into your skull, it goes into your brain area, to the pineal gland, to the pituitary gland, saturating the pineal gland with that cosmic energy, and then the pineal gland acts as a step down transformer to the rest of your glands inside of your body. In other words, breaking off a piece of the energy to each one. All right. So this is the science. Let me see. But you got any questions? All right, let me get to some other stuff here through some of these questions.
Really, you done touched it, man. You know, did you touch on how to make the Kundalini go back up?
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is what it's called a microcosmic orbit. Let me turn sideways here. All right. Now you can also do this technique while you in the sexual act, but I'm just going to show you, being that,
what are you doing?
What we're doing is just, what we're going to do is this right here, right above the crack of your behind, is where the Kundalini energy dwells at. What is called your sacral area, what is called your tailbone area. What you want to do is visualize the energy as your spinal column is straight. You want to visualize the energy come up to the top of the head and then bowl back down to the front, going down to what is called the perineum, which is right up under once again, the scrotum and the anus area. And then circulate that 7 times. Now, the best thing to do it is actually while you in the sexual act of when I was talking about them holdbacks. When you hold back, you know what I'm saying? It's like this, like you in, then you pull back. You in, you pull back. When you pull back, you pull in your anal muscles. And as you're doing it, and right at the point of what I was talking about, when you get ready to orgasm, what you would do is bring that energy up and circulate it 7 times. You know what I'm saying? And then go back in. You know what I'm saying? And then once again, pull back when you get to that point of the hold back, and then circulate the energy again.
You hold back and hold your breath.
You will breathe in. And as you breathe in, you will hold it, and then out your mouth. So if you just, matter of fact, when you do that, you'll feel relaxed. You feel more at ease. You know what I'm saying? So sex won't be something in which that you get tensed about. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens with a person who's impotent. Impotency, as they already know, 90% of it is mental. All right. The other 10% of it is actually physical problems in which that might occur. For the physical problems, only thing you would need to take is vitamin E, vitamin B, 6 and 12, or B complex. And eat more green leafy vegetables in which they have magnesium and manganese in it.
Is it true that a woman can hold her orgasm for a long period of time as well?
Yeah. Actually, they're more easier to control the orgasm, because of the fact that oftentimes you come to find out that you have, according to this, once again, this right here, the woman, you can take the woman to, there's 9 levels of sexual response for the woman. You can get her to come at the 4th level, and for most brothers, they think the job is done. But if the woman is still begging for you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, literally asking you to continue on, that means you made her come, but you did not make her orgasm.
Yes.
Now see, brothers, they can come. You know what I'm saying? Coming or ejaculation, you know what I'm saying, is something in which that you don't feel throughout your whole body. When you orgasm, you feel it throughout. I mean, down to your bones. I mean, a brother can literally shake his legs. You know what I'm saying? Can shake from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, so that means that the energy was drawn out from his whole body. Yeah. That's an orgasm. Just like but woman right, right, and that's an orgasm. Right. But when a man just come and ejaculate, the only he losing energy from this area here alone. You know what I'm saying? From the navel and to the genitalia area or for the root chakra. You know what I'm saying? That's where the energy is being depleted from. But when you do an orgasm, this energy being from the crown all the way down to the to here. The whole body is getting it.
Let me tell you something, brother. My lady, right? We be making love and all that, and she's getting ready to come. She will automatically cut it off. I'm thinking she's getting ready. And she, I'm coming. Next thing you know, she cut it off, and I'll be like, baby, what happened? She said, no, I stopped it. I said, what? I'm thinking she already gonna reach that damn. Right. What happened? Now I know I got to go another extra. I'm like, God damn, sometimes they'll wear your ass out, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She just cut it right off.
Well, that's the reason why.
Like you were talking about, make it go right back up. Right. I'm waiting for her like to finish it, and I'm like, what happened, baby? We finished yet? Nah, I stopped it. I said, baby, come on now.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Once women learn how to achieve orgasm via the male, you know what I'm saying? By the male, they can do those types of things. But there's a lot of women who have never orgasmed. They like 25, 30, 35 damn years old. And maybe only orgasm, maybe never or even once or twice in their whole lifetime.
I know, I shook my body a few times.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? Sometimes when me and her making our love and having sex, I will come before her. Right. Sometimes she will come before me. Right. She be ready. I'll be like, baby,
I ain't even coming.
Back and forth, right. So something like you said before, sometimes you be anxious. Sometimes you don't, because like I always focus my mind on, on other things. I let the Kundalini open up. She will come way before me.
Yep.
Like, hey, I ain't even come yet.
Right.
I will come before her. Right. Like it's switched back and forth.
Right. I understand exactly what you're talking about. And the reason for that is because it depends on who's the initiator. Right. You know what I'm saying? If the male is the initiator in a lot of that regards, then a lot of times he can withhold maybe longer in certain situations. If the woman is the initiator, you know what I'm saying, then the male he's gonna go first. You know what I'm saying? Because if the woman is in the mood, she can go. Right. You know what I'm saying? This joint right here speaks about the fact that the woman is more powerful than the male is sexually. So that's how we know too that that she was first in flesh or first incarnated, is because her sexual, even though she's degenerative also, but her sexual premise is still more functional than ours is, because she still have the capability of bringing life into existence. You know what I'm saying? In other words, our womb is our now shrunken, quote unquote, prostate gland. You know what I'm saying? And even when it starts to get larger as we age, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? So we can't let it get large. You know what I'm saying? The woman fallopian tubes is our vas deferens tubes. You know what I'm saying? The testes are the ovaries within the woman. The penis is the clitoris within her. You know what I'm saying? So is that information?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I want you to talk to me about the cover. What is they actually doing?
Okay.
Before they even get in, that's like making love to the mind, or
this is the right. This is the science of balancing the yin and yang principle through the mind first, because all sexual before there's the sexual physical, there's the sexual mental, and what this is showing is how to bring the fire of the Kundalini energy up over top of the head and then back down to the perineum. You see, this is the perineum. This dot right here. And you bring it up, right, bring it up to the top of the head and then bringing it back down. Okay. All right. This area here represents them doing this beforehand, as I was showing you some of the techniques that you can do beforehand, in which that causes an etheric tie to one another in the sexual act beforehand. Already giving the woman the ability, you know what I'm saying, in order to accept you sexually. Because I know some brothers complain about the woman not as sexual as the male is. You know what I'm saying? And the reason for that is because you got to make it, you have to extend foreplay. That's the reason why. The women get into sexuality from the foreplay aspect. The male, you know what I'm saying, he's the one in which that can just go stab and jab.
And another thing,
you know what I'm saying,
they love is, like you said, the foreplay, the touching.
Right. They want to caressing. They like that. Right. You know, and then, you know, of course, like the brother was saying, speaking them soft words to them. You know what I'm saying?
And
you know,
those who out there who is doing the oral, you don't just go straight to the vagina.
No.
See what I'm saying? You got to get them in the mood.
Right. Kiss first. Brothers, you got to kiss around the thigh area. You know what I'm saying? Nibble around the thigh area first. From the knees, right around this area here. You nibble around this area before you even get to the clitoris and before you even get to the vaginal areas if you practicing oral sex in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you would do. You would nibble around that area first. Especially around this area here. You know what I'm saying? Around this thigh area here. You know what I'm saying? Right here and right here before you even get to it.
So do individual women, do they have certain G spots? They all not in the same place.
They're about it. Is about an inch and a half to 3 inches inside of the vaginal area. What is called a G spot, in which that is basically what that is nothing more than our perineum. Our perineum is outside, and so we can take a finger and press up into it. Hers is inside, and you can take a finger and press down into it. You get what I'm saying? And rub that area, caress that area, and she'll orgasm. You know, matter of fact, the head of the penis actually hits that area on the shallow stroke techniques, as the techniques that we was talking about earlier with the 9 shallow strokes. Let me see here. Get that on camera here. On the 9-stroke technique too. It needs to be on here. Oh yeah. Well, before we get to that, let me show you about the 9 levels of the woman orgasm. That's the 9. That is the right there. The 9 levels of a woman orgasm. And once again, you see that arrow point down to 4, because that 4 represents where she can orgasm, where she can come at, but she doesn't reach total orgasmic whole body orgasm until the 9th level. Okay. And right here on this side, it tells you what happens at each one. At 1, it activates the lungs and energizes the lungs. At 2, the heart. At 3, the spleen, pancreas, and stomach. At 4, the kidneys and the bladder. Now, read pancreas and stomach. At 4, the kidneys and the bladder. Now, read over here 4. Women experience a series of vaginal spasms at this time, and secretions begin to flow. So she can orgasm at this point. However, 5 hit the bones, 6 hit the liver and the nerves, 7 the blood, 8 the muscles, and 9 the entire body is energized. So it's at 9 that she collapses into what is called a little death, and she completely surrenders to the man and is completely open up. And this is where you'll hear her say, oh, the ah sound, because that is the sound in which that you now have her heart.
But is it hard to make the woman reach that?
Here go what we talking about with the woman and doing the circles around the breasts. As we were talking about earlier, the rub ladies rub on them titties. Right. But there it is right there. For stimulation, in other words, if she want her breast to become large, she would rub to the right.
Open that page up again. Okay. With those that explain the numbers and all that, but they show them.
Oh, okay. All right. But this is actually showing is the areas in which that of the pressure points in which that surrounds the vagina. what you see right here is like the clock. It's like the clock. All right. As you see, the lips are between 1 and 6, and then between 7 to 11 is the lips on the left side of the lips, right side of the lips, and then at 12 o'clock is the clitoris itself. So what you would do, fellas, is actually when you performing oral sex on the woman, you would bite slightly on the lips themselves in this clock position, and then begin to suck on the clitoris. You know what I'm saying? Nibbling it, biting it slightly. You know.
Tell them to make sure she washed that ass first.
Oh, look. That's why I showed this book and this book. Yeah. Because these two books here shows you how hygiene is definitely a necessity. You know what I'm saying? Beforehand. And we might get a little bit into that here in a second. All right. Here go the 9-stroke technique right here, what we was talking about earlier. As you see, yang is the shallow strokes and yin is the deep strokes. And there's 9 sets of it. This is what is called the 9-stroke technique. All right. Once again, this is just a prelude to the real lecture, which we're going to have very soon here coming up. So don't get souped out on the information that we dropped here, because this is actually just scratching the surface. This is nothing compared to what we're going to go into in the live lecture. We're going to use slides, overhead projection, everything is going to be used in order to and plus, I mean, when you have an audience, you have questions in which that the people is going to bring to you, and I enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy that. I enjoy questions. So please come with your questions. Please come out and support the House of Consciousness, Brother Sarnetta, and I will return as we do the live lecture on sexuality. We'll have of course, we have another name for it, so but you'll get the gist of what we're trying to say. All right, peace and blessings, y'all. All right.